Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to meet you and congratulations on your selection at Locarno. Well, we're going to have a talk, free talk together, and maybe we can start by introducing each other and you and your film.
Hi everyone, I'm Ben Donateo, and my short film is Burnt Land of Fire, and I'm grateful to be here with you guys.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Emmanuel. My short film is Fishbowl, and I'm thankful to be here with you.
Hi, my name is Ibrahim Handal. My film is Bethlehem 2001, and I'm really grateful for this wonderful opportunity.
Hi, I'm Joanne Cesario, and my short film is Here, and it's really nice to meet all of you.
Well, I'm very glad to do this with you, and congratulations for this selection. Well, let's start with. I was trying to find some common thema between your films, but they are so different in styles. I believe you saw that. So it was very exciting for me to see different forms, different types of filming also, and I guess the process also are different. But recently, when I thought about it again, I realized that all of your films are kind of a portrait of your own country, and there is something very strong related to the country, to the place. Maybe you have memories in these places, and yeah, I would like to hear you about that. I mean, filming your own country, and how is it necessary for you, or how is it a strong feeling for you, and what you have to say on this. Maybe we can start like that to talk about the country. I don't know, Joanne, if you want to start.
Yeah, okay. So hi everyone. So I'm Joanne. I'm from the Philippines, and so I grew up in the province of Batangas. So it's called Batangas, and then I moved to Manila to study film at the University of the Philippines. Upon entry to the university, I immediately became involved with a youth organization actively engaging in various sectoral issues in our country, ranging from land distribution to just wages and to free education on all levels. So it's always been important for me to include my country and also my hometown in the works that I do. So we actually shot most of the film in one of the towns in Batangas. So the town is called Lobo. And about 5 years ago, there was a mining company, a foreign mining company that wanted to explore the area to hopefully mine gold. And at first, the company was allowed to explore the area. And upon exploration, there's already excavation. So part of the land had already been dug up and explored. So that's actually the main motivation of the film, of shooting there, because most of the people in my province were against the mining operations. So thankfully, it didn't push through, and the local government didn't allow it to push any further than the exploration. But yeah, that was one of the key points in doing the film.
And did you recollect stories, or did you meet people who actually have experience working in these mines, or to write the film, did you get inspiration from meeting the people?
Yeah, so actually when the company explored the area, they brought other workers from different mines, because usually when it's in the exploration stage, they get professionals who are used to working in a operational mine. So I got the chance to meet locals of the mining community in a different place. So the place is called Didipio. And actually now in our country, that's one of the biggest mines. And its permit expired a year ago, but then they have been continuing operations. So most of us have been strongly against the operation. So I met a lot of locals who were living in the community, and some of them were employed in the mines.
But what is interesting is in your film is that you could have made something more like a documentary or something more engaged, but your film is really, how do I say, it's blurring blurring reality and blurring the boundaries between fiction, documentaries, and experimental also. So at first when I saw it, it was not so clear. It came after, something came after, you know. But I really love the link between the territory and the body, for example. But how come you decided to have such a form, which is really unexpected, I guess?
Yeah. So in works that I do, so I think it's a hybrid piece of work. So what motivated me to do a hybrid work was that I just feel like the rich and the long history of our country and of our place with regards to different colonial powers coming into our country has created it's created a blur within us also, without us knowing what culture do we really have, what traditions do we really have, because we've been colonized by 3 countries. So I think it's not enough to fit into a straightforward or linear or straightforward narrative. So I felt the need to make something that blurs the lines and the hybrid of the different genres and different forms. So one motivation in that also is that last year, when we have been starting pre-production for the film, the permit of the mining company that I have been mentioning earlier in the DPO had already expired, and we went there for a solidarity mission. So when we went there, I shot some videos and some footage that were actually just to be used for research and for documentation. But then I felt strongly that it had to be seen also in the film. So that's one of the motivations for that.
Does it bring you question to other directors?
I think it's.
I got one. I was curious about how long was the shooting process from writing it till post production. How long does it take?
I started. The idea first came to me in 2016. So I have been starting writing in 2016, but it had all been fragmented. So a habit of mine is I keep notes. So every time I think of something, I write it down and I keep it in separate notes. And I think by that time, maybe a lot of what had been written in the final script had already been written down in different notes. But I had pieced them all together and I had made the structure in early 2017. And then that time we tried to get funding and we didn't get funding in that year, and I couldn't self-fund it. So so it took us 2 years. So we shot it last year.
I was asking just because I actually had the feeling that you had time to think about what you were filming, and I can actually feel I can go deeper and deeper while I watch the film. So I really like it. So
thank you. Yeah, thank you.
Another thing I thought about when I just sat down and thought about all your movies is the connection with the country, but also with memories. I don't know if it's something important to you or precious when you're writing or preparing a film, but I could feel all of your film deals with memories, or how do I say? Yeah, I could feel this strong connection with memories as a material, you know. Of course, as a fictional material, but I don't know if Emmanuel wants to talk about
Yes.
about this very simple situation that your film presents.
Okay. At first, you mentioned that the connection or tie with the country, but
Yeah,
I don't
sure.
know if I can say with my story that it was a connection with the country, but the story is mostly a connection with the place and the, like, if I say people, I don't know if it will be heard in another way, but yes, there are memories that are somehow true that I took from a real life situation
Mhm.
that I know happened, and you'll have to excuse my accent if I'm not speaking
No, it's
right.
okay.
Can you remind me the question again, please?
Because I thought that in your film it's I mean, we are in like a ceremony, but something else is happening which is very like personal. There is
Yes, yes.
something very subtle happening between these two people. And what I'm asking is that if when you prepare this film, or your material was something that you heard about, a story of someone, or something that you could, because there is something really genuine about it, so really authentic.
Yes,
So this is my question, basically.
yes. I can say that most of it I have lived it, I have experienced it. Here in Rwanda, first of all, that the ceremony was a funeral,
Mhm.
and funerals around here are like, in most cases, are like the first thing that is given like importance is like the image that you give during that ceremony.
Mhm.
So, uh, in a real, if, for instance, if you are in a funeral, even if you just lost someone, and you have maybe your hair is like not quote unquote presentable,
Mhm.
it becomes a big deal to the point that it can surpass the event itself.
Mhm.
So that was one of the first things that made me think about making it a ceremony, the ceremony in the story. But the I needed to put a, I don't know how to say it, but I needed to mix it with a fiction,
Mhm.
with fiction, and it had to be something other than the ceremony itself. The ceremony took the real side of the story, the things that happens, like the image itself, the people having conversations as if it was not the ceremony that was happening, as if it was like maybe everyday, a situation like everyday, like I don't know how to say, but everyday life. It's something that's just happened. It's not it is as if the you just forgive me for the, I'm not finding the words, but that ceremony took the real side and the story of the Emmanuel and the girl had to take the fictional part where during the ceremony that is demanding him something that maybe he sees as unrealistic because of maybe the mindset, the mind that he's in, or the mood. My character is somehow, I don't know, I can say confused with now the friendship that he has with the closest person who knows him actually. So I don't know if what I just said makes sense, but yeah.
Yes, it does. It does. Yes, there is these two lines, like the funeral, but at the same time we are really looking at from another point of view. We are looking at his intimacy and this relation.
Yes.
Just
Yes.
growing, and it's very subtle. Mm.
But also growing, even if it's growing, it just surfaced in a wrong moment, in a moment that everybody will feel like sensitive to show anything about such instances or emotions. So yeah.
I've seen that the film was part of a project, like making
Yes.
film under constraints or something like that.
Yes.
Can you talk about it a bit?
It was a workshop that would help upcoming filmmakers to take a story out and tell it, and they will be helped to produce it and also learn all the steps from writing a film to releasing it and everything. Yes, and we were asked to take something that we know happens in real life here, in maybe in our country or our neighborhoods, and giving it a part of fiction that can maybe make a story more relatable or powerful, or in any way. Yeah. The main thing was to take a real life situation or talking about someone or a place that exists and fusing it with a fiction. Fiction, yes.
Do you guys relate to this idea of working under constraints? And
sorry,
do you how do you feel about making films under constraints? I'm asking to everyone the question. Considering your films, is this something that inspire you to have limits, or do you how your film was made considering this question of limits and constraints? Ben, for example, or
well, you mean limits by cultural situation?
No, I mean like for Emmanuel, for example, he was asked in the workshop to do maybe a situation.
I got you.
Could happen very close to him, and to fictionalize it,
Yeah. So first of all, actually, Emmanuel's short film, I really liked it actually because this kind of conflict in a particular situation where you have to be somehow someone, but you just want. I can feel it because there's something that every country has it, I think. For myself, I guess limitation when you're filming, it's kind of hard because some people with limitation get creative, really creative. For myself, it doesn't really happen because when I shoot something and I have to do something specific, it's not that good. Actually, my short film has no limitation at all. So it's the total opposite in the process than Manuel. So, but I think still that many people can use that limit for go in a creative way in the process.
But for example, on your film, do you have a team? How do you?
Yeah, my short film was different than all the other short film I made in the past. Actually, first of all, Italy, you can hear it, is my original country, but I live in Switzerland. I mean, I grew up in Switzerland, and actually my family and my girlfriend family are from the south of Italy. And the place you saw in the short film is actually the village of my girlfriend's parents. So basically, through the years, I always thought that there was a story over there about people, nature, and animals actually, and there is a fil rouge, a connection between those points. And finally, last year, I decided to go there on my own, with my camera. So I basically was there alone. I asked people to if they were okay being filming by me. I asked a friend to go for the voiceover, and that's what came out. My team actually was on set, me and myself. On post-production, me and Enea and Tommaso, 2 editors and friends and co-producer. So that was the weird process. I know it's unusual, but I felt I had to say something about that place, so I went for it.
I understand. And for me, your film is more, I mean, there is no character. We could say that there is no fiction, but I believe there is a poetic logic, and it's more of the poetic side, and there's something about the aura of and the atmosphere of the places that you could capture.
Yeah, that's what I started from, and it was the reason actually for what I did, do something poetic over there, because when you're there and you see some landscapes or a situation, I felt it romantic, so I wanted to shoot it. I wanted to capture it for someone, and now it's in Locarno, and I'm very happy about that. About the fiction, yes, there is no fiction at all. I just discovered during the shooting and in post-production that there were some constant points, and constant points where the people, like the old people, the nature was the main topic, and the animals as well. I mean, I felt like they were so connected that it's not a fictional, but there is something to say about the conflict between those points. So this is how I saw it. Yeah.
There is something pleasant about the fact that when you make a film, and we can see this in your film, in Ibrahim's film also, it's not centered on human beings, you know. You can have animals to take a bit more power and to have a line more.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say, but in your film, places, of course, streets, sounds, objects, also. You know, how do I say the
wind turbines? Yeah,
exactly. The fire elements, and I think in all your films, in kind of a way, I don't know why, but you try to diminish a bit the not the human side, but I mean the notion of character. And I believe that sometimes you can, for example, in your film, Ibrahim, objects like material, photography, footage, they take the power. I mean, there is something they're really front lines, and I think it's we can see this point in all your films, I believe. This.
Yeah, because the image is part of the memory, and it's bring back the memory, because it's on a film different than in digital nowadays. So it's like 20 years ago, they used to do the photograph on films, even the TV. It's not that good connection also. So all these images, like it's like restoring or bringing back these memories from these images, and bringing back with these images some feelings, and these feelings have a story behind. So it's a little bit like every picture you took on film, you remember the moment. So it's like you will never forget it. You remember the light, the situation, and if there is a story, it will boost it. It will give it the character that's it's I'm here. She's saying the picture. So
yeah. But for example, the main character of your film, when he's an adult, I believe we don't see his face. I think he's always in the shadow, or and the object that he uses, the mic, the sound of his voice, everything takes more power. But we can see him when he's a child. But yeah, what I find interesting is how you also, the same question, when you collect materials and try to make a film with it. Did you write a story, or did you collect these documents and try to put them together and to see what it brought, what feelings?
Yes, the story, it's from my memories, from my personal memories. So because I live in Bethlehem in occupied Palestine, and we are occupied. So in 2001, there was a siege for Bethlehem and in my city, and all the story begins when I wanted to graduate from my film school, and I wanted to do something about this period of time, because this period of time, it's really affect everyone who was a child in that time, in the second intifada, they call it, for the Palestinians. And it started with images. When we share the stories with my brothers, with my friends, we we share all these feelings and emotions that it's bring back the image. And all these images have really a lot of stories, because what happened with me is different from what happened with my brother, actually, or what happened with the friends of mine. So I was developing for around 5-6 months for the script. It took like 7 drafts, and while I was finishing the final draft, I was preparing for the pre-production on the location, because I have to restore something from a memory, but now it's a fiction, because I write it for the fiction. But at the same time, while I was writing because for a documentary scenes, because at that time there was some expensive material, let's say like a tank, military tank, helicopter, soldiers, so on. So the only thing that bring the truth for the story, it's the documentary materials. What happened at that time. So that was like a hitting point. I was doing some research for what the material I'm going to involve in the film itself. Like I got almost like 60 hours of documentary materials, and I have to edit them, telling the story from that kid, not from me. It stopped. Sorry. It stopped to be me. It's a character, what it need now, what the film need in the post-production. So I had to be really specific, telling what he have seen and that time, what he want to say also in this time. So I had to separate from the present time also from the 2001 visually also. It was like a challenge for me because I graduated as a cinematographer from my film school in Bethlehem, which I born and grew up and educated in my city in Bethlehem. So I had a lot of time to prepare for the script, and also it was planned to have this mix between fiction and documentary to make to experiment with this material, and even with sound also. While we filming in the production days, I had to do about something about the sound. All the actors are acting, but they never think about the sound. So
Yeah.
I had to make them cool. They don't have to do it like it's something big.
Yeah.
And it spent a lot of time also in the post-production to restore the sound, because you kind of restore your memory by one single image, but with the sound, it's really need to dive in your subconscious to bring back a lot of things. So even with light, because I was the cinematographer also for the film at the same time. Like I was directing and the cinematographer. I was also the light was a memory also. It is a memory, because when the military doing a flash bombs, so at the night time, so you will see the light and the shadows entering the house from all around. So even with candles, because I remember some nights we didn't have any electricity for the simple thing, for radio to listen for the news. So the candle was an element also for the film. But because I have to do a research about the candle itself, my inspiration for that was Stanley Kubrick films, Barry Lyndon, when he used these candles to light without any real light source, big one. So I had to make it by myself and test it on the camera. Yeah.
So maybe it's because of the sound, because you needed to make the actor have very gentle movements, gestures. But I believe your film has something really interesting. There is something very peaceful about it, very quiet, and at the same time there is a strong tension. I think it's, of course, the documentary images that bring the tension, but it's not only that. There is something like both gentle and violent at the same time.
Yes, because family, parents are really important. They are the guardian of any child. They protect them. Like they will never show the tension for their kids. And that's why when the mother, she have the worry of the water, because the water tank on the rooftop was shot with the army bullets. So she was stressed about the water and so on. She was putting in the bathroom in the huge buckets to save the water later, while the kids maybe drawing or going out to play. So the parents they make the safe line for the kids to not to feel the fear. It's important that you protect your child, and you don't want to give him any experience of fear, because in his subconscious it will be filled with this fear, and that will affect his acting and the way he's dealing with things in real life. So his subconscious will be like blocked in a way, and his conscious will be blocked. So yeah, they were protecting their childs, and that's why their pace, let's say, the rhythm was like, there's nothing happening outside. Don't worry, we are still there. So
do you have question for Ibrahim or for each other?
I have a question for Ben.
Yeah.
Because hi Ben, I've seen all your films. They're really wonderful, guys. Congratulations. For you, Ben, your visual style and your cinematography, let's say, when you plan to start filming, I thought in the beginning it's on film, not a digital.
Oh.
Yes, in a way, because it's really poetic. Like, you have chosen the aspect ratio and you stick for it. It's like looking for images, like printed images all the time. And I don't know what you used, like technical lenses and the camera. And did you decided in the pre-production to your style, your aspect ratio, because it's really different. If you prepare for it, it will affect you later in the post-production, and it affects the most in the production itself.
So thank you so much for what you said and for the question, actually. So basically, the aspect ratio I choose came out because when I was there in the car, I was looking at the landscape around me through the window, actually. So that's why I decided to frame my image like if it's a window. So it's basically a window on a village. That's the reason I chose that. And yeah, that's something I had to choose it before filming, because it's about 40% cut off from a normal 16:9 frame. So I had to be far enough from the object. That was kind of hard sometimes, but I tried to do my best. So thank you for that. I went for analogic lenses from Nikon, kind of old lenses on my Sony a7S II. So it's like a mirrorless camera. I had a lot of work with post-production and color correction, but I know you can understand because you're a DP. So and you actually did an awesome job with lighting on your short film. So that's how I went there. The script was more. I mean, wasn't really a standard script with dialogues, and I mean the voiceover. I had the voiceover in my mind from the beginning. I just didn't know where to put it. I wanted to be. I wanted to be inspired by the landscape on the post-production moment. So the script was more like some points on a paper of things I wanted to shoot, and I had like to cut off many other situations, but I choose the ones I felt more important for the film. That's what I did. So I usually write scripts, but not in this case.
Cool.
And actually, I just wanted to say something more to Ibrahim. Can I do it?
Of course.
I loved so much the fact that your movie is so contemporary, in my opinion, because of course war are a major topic, but today in the pandemic world, this kind of confinement, I mean, in place like where I'm living, so it should be like a safe place. Now we can a little bit more understand what's going on during war period, because of staying at home and being scared about what's outside. And I really felt that, and I also liked the change of aspect ratio. You made it at the beginning for that kind of idea. I love that.
Thank you.
And can I ask a question to everyone? In my film, I dedicate some parts of it to my character's mood or how he's feeling, maybe how he's thinking, in a way that I can say it. I can call it experimental, but I don't know if it can really be called an experimental. And my question was to everyone: do you dedicate that kind with your styles of when you're working on your films? Do you take time to show or portray your character's feelings or um, state of mind, if I can say that? Because let me add this one, because me doing it, me putting those parts in my films is because I personally I prefer that over a voiceover. So my question was that. It was to everyone.
What do you
So
think?
I think, okay, I'll go ahead. So yeah, for me, I think of course, so yeah, the state of mind of the characters. I think also the state of, yeah, because I think for example in my film, I'd like to say also that the place is a main character. So you could also say that the state of the place is actually uh, not just the characters, the people involved in or the cast. So yeah, I think definitely you consider it even while you write. So me, as early as writing it, I think about it, and I think about the backstory of each character. So that's something that I also do. So what are the motivations of each character, and how do these things manifest? What are their intentions? So yeah, I think I don't know if it's just my process, but I think it's automatically part, just from writing to shooting and even to editing, and even to how you cue the actors and how you talk to them, and what parts you choose to relay, what parts you choose to tell them, even their histories, or maybe if you don't need to tell other characters so much, or don't need to go into detail as much. So I think it's all part of the general intention also of the film. So definitely me writing something, it's also very personal to me, because it's also my hometown, my home province, and a lot of the parts are also based on personal experiences. So yeah, I think if that's part of the general intention, then yeah, you carry it out throughout, I think.
But for example, the actor who plays Koi,
Yeah.
did you talk? You're talking about backstories and stuff. Did
Yeah.
you spoke with him about that? Does he relate to that, or is it because he's? I know there is a backstory, but he's kind of mysterious at the same time. You know,
Yeah.
there is some distance, I believe.
Yeah. So the strange thing with him is the character of Koi, and so he was being played by Kael. Kael is the real person. So we met him during auditions, and during auditions, so we just read some lines, we just threw some lines, and then when he got accepted already, we got the chance to talk. And the strange thing is, he was also working as a call center agent before. He was working in BPO also. So there are some similarities in the way that the character was written, in the way that he is, how he is. So I think also a big part of it was on our end, on the team's end, that intuition played a big part, I guess, that maybe Kael, the character, was also, the actor was also naturally a bit mysterious and didn't really share so much at the beginning. But then when we got to know each other, that's where we talked about his story also and my story and the character's backstory. I think with him a lot of it was also intuitive, I guess, if that makes sense.
Ben, you film non-actors, you film people,
Yeah.
but we can feel we don't know what they're thinking about, but we can feel something about what they are thinking about. There is some secret, there is some atmosphere about them. So I believe maybe Emmanuel's question can be also good for your film because you portrait them, you know.
Yeah.
And they are really like vulnerable, I believe.
Yeah, I mean, with them in this short film was interesting because at first people from a small village in the south of Italy, they don't really want to be filmed because, you know, they are old and they are tired and I mean, they don't know me. I'm the foreign guy in a small village. I mean, I think the other filmmakers here can understand being in a place where actually they don't know you and you have to film. It's not easy. With them, the trick was, first of all, they thought, I mean, I didn't tell that, but they thought I was taking picture because the mirrorless is so small and they didn't know I was shooting actually. And that's probably the major point of why they look so real. I mean, like they are not acting, they're not like doing something weird, they're just themselves. And that is because they didn't know to be on a short film, on a video. And the thing is, I chose a particular moment in the small village, in that small village, which is the moment after the brunch, basically after midday, where they take a rest in the squares around the village. And this is like a choral moment of people staying together, talking together, because it's too hot. They just want to stay like in the shadow and rest a little bit. And since that's a particular moment for them, they look relaxed and natural. And that's probably, I didn't really talk with them about the project, about how they should look like. I just wanted to go for something real in a particular moment and in a particular context as well. So that's what I try to do.
May I ask a question?
Yes.
So I was just wondering, Ben, if you had the chance to talk to them afterwards, because I was just thinking about possibly of the ethics behind not really telling them the real intentions.
Sure, of course. I mean, like I couldn't use their image without telling them, actually.
Yeah.
So yes, they know it. And, you know, when you are in the south of Italy, it's like, it's not Italy, it's the south of Italy. So people is different. They, at first they are like suspicious. And then when they know you, when you start to talk with them, they started to trust you. And when they know what you're doing, they feel like, oh, that's something good. I like your idea. I like the fact that you came here in this place where nobody came since like 30 years and shot us, actually. So they were happy about the fact that my intention was to capture their village. Probably they didn't really understand their role in the short film, but for me it's important because the fact to be so old, it's like you can actually feel the suffering on their faces, on some of them, and they know it. I think they know it, but they weren't sure about how I would use that on my short film. But since they saw it and they really liked it, so I'm happy about that. I think that being realistic in this kind of project helped me out a lot than directing actually them. So that was that's maybe different from usual sets. But you know, I mean, remember, they are all people from a small village. They don't see anyone during the year, so that's how I did it.
You're saying that on this film you learned something. You had the impression of learning something about how to work with actors for other project, or?
Yeah, I mean, I think that if you're going for a documentary or for something realistic, if you don't know the place, that's a major problem. If you don't know, in my opinion, if you don't know how they would react on a camera or on a person from outside, that's could become a problem during the shooting, and I mean, it's possible that you won't have the shot you needed. So since I know that the kind of people that live there, I could like find the process to have them in that way. So I learned through the years with them, and if I'm gonna do something similar in the future, for sure I'm gonna have to learn the people from the new documentary. Yeah.
But it's funny you mentioned realistic, because for me your film is not realistic. I mean, it's a real place, but it's something it starts with the fire, and there's something like more like a myth, mythological something.
Yeah.
And so the place gains some. I know it's a real place, but at the same time you present it as something more antique or.
Yeah. That's thank you for telling that, because that was one of my goal at the beginning, because I wanted to use totally real images, real pictures, but giving to the short film, to the total short film, something a little bit more of a documentary, not talking about fiction, but something romantic, to the mythological. Yeah, that's mythological. It's a good word actually. So, but I started from realistic though. I mean, I was around there looking for places, and yeah, that's it. I mean,
Ibrahim, you work with actors, with professional actors, or how is your?
No, they were non-professional actors.
Non-professional also? Okay.
Yes. But I had also an acting coach, because we had 2 kids and we had extras, and it's like we have to control all the filming, because I was the cinematographer at the same time. So
okay.
I had the talk with the acting coach, and all the time that what I want from the scene. So he have the direct connection with the actors, and he get when I want to do any reshooting for the scene, for the shots. Like we had some small talk, because he's already a director, and he's really good. Like I'm his cinematographer also. So yeah, we worked on the process together. Like we had some rehearsals and the location. With the extras, we had to do some experimenting. Like we had to give them some unseen situation, to give them a feeling how they have to do their acts. We have really challenging dealing with the children's, because
Yeah.
we don't have to shoot for, I don't know, 10, 12 hours. So they have really small hours of filming, and they get always tired. So we have to be really choosing which time we have to pick them up and talking to them, and yes, to make them feel really pleasant and relaxed with the camera. And there is a lighting, there is a crew also, so that's affects also the mood of the child also.
So
But
you had to improvise also sometimes, or
what?
you had to improvise?
No, well,
No.
not a lot. No, I didn't have to improvise, because we in the rehearsals we explained, and we did some small acting with them, so they will know what the in the real filming, like we try to have a camera, some small lighting setup, and like showing them how it's going, because they wanted to be on the film also, because there's some filmmakers and some colleagues also, they've been having a huge success in their short films, so they wanted to be involved in the same time. And when I was searching for kids, like the main character in my 2020, and he was my gaffer, so
Okay.
yeah, and he looks the same as the main character, the kid. So we see them in the final scene, when the mother pulling out some potato. So he's sitting with himself, kind of poetry. So this is the only time we see him. The character from 2020 is going back with his memory. So I had to choose the gaffer also to have the role with the small kid, because they look the same skin tone, same faces. So yeah, and yeah, I had a lot of kids in around the set. They wanted to act, but well, we were trying to do something with them. So if there is some scenes, but well, logically, if if their parents are not with them in 2001, let's say, so no, there is no kids are allowed to go outside alone. So yeah, so we had the really challenging situation, having kids and having grown-ups at the same time. And we have the scene that we had to repeat it for 5 times, because we have the rap we have to finish. So like we're almost there, but we finish, and we have to go back the next day. So because it's had really challenging with lights and with the acting movement, I had also challenging in the cinematography side, because I choose an anamorphic in 2001.
Yeah.
So I used 2 lenses, anamorphic adapter from a projector, putting it in the spherical lens to have this original or the true feeling of anamorphic. So me and the first AC, we had to do the focusing, each one for a lens, sometimes together. So, and we have all these flashlights going down, we have candles, and candles, it's really challenging at the same time. It have smokes, heat. So yeah, and we have kids in the same time, because we have to do all the night scene with the flashlight together, so to keep in mood, because it's, and we have some limitation with equipment also. Like we used really simple equipment, but I tried to figure out a way to make it looks good for the film, and it's helping telling the story, not just getting what equipment we can get. No, we have really limitation from equipment because it's a student graduation project. It's the budget problem that I had, because I had to produce it. Me with my friend, he's the acting coach also, and his close friend and the director at the same time. Like I had to custom the candles. I have to do a lot of pre-production testing for the light. So because what we said in the beginning, it's about the image, and these still images, they are strong, but when we bring it to motion picture, these images start to start to move. It's really challenging to make it happen, but because it's low budget and so on, we have to be creative with equipment, with the crew, with food, with kids also, because we're trying to build our own experience also in the filmmaking. And it's like we're switching roles all the time, but I'm trying to focus all the time to be the cinematographer, and the only thing that make me do my own personal films or doing my films, because there's always an image stays in my head and I have to chase it. I have to imagine more. There is a story behind it. I have to discover it, and then yes, I have to do it. So it's like chasing my dreams all the time.
I think that's a nice nice word to end our conversation. It reminds me of Ingmar Bergman when he said that he said my films, they are the explanation of my images. So the images come first, and that's what you said.
Yeah.
Well, thank you everyone. It was very nice meeting you, and I hope we can have a real meeting in real life. And I wish the best for your films, and I hope it will go to festivals and bring you luck for next project. So all the best to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.